Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, so much more. I'm here this week live. It is our Monday night date on every Monday night, April 15th, tax day in the United States, 2024. I'm going over This Week in Astrology all the way from April 15th through till April 21st. So welcome if you're just joining me live. I appreciate you guys tuning in live on Facebook, 8 p.m. every Monday night Eastern time. If you are watching the recording, the replay, and that's appreciated as well on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys on YouTube, and if you could give it a thumbs up, that'd be great as well, because I love hearing from you guys. Yes, we have a big week, astrologically speaking. There's a lot going on. We're finishing this Mercury retrograde, not even this week, but we're having the second half of Mercury retrograde very strong. This whole week is going to be a lot of happenings, astrologically speaking, not just the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, although that's a big thing. Hey, everybody, welcome. Someone could comment below. What is your astrological sign? Where are you tuning in from? A lot going on. Even today, there was a lot of astrological energy on Monday. Getting into this week, it's a powerful week. There's a lot happening this week. I'm going to be talking about something almost every single day except for Thursday. So Thursday is the quiet day. We'll say quiet. Hey, Almir, welcome. Taurus, love that. Charlie, yes, double Sag in Australia. Love that. I love that you guys are tuning in from all around the world. I think it's pretty fun. And if you could like the broadcast and share and whatever you want to do, it helps to get the algorithm rolling. I want to talk about today, even though technically this is kind of in the past, I want to make sure I touch on something because there's something that's very important. Firstly, we had Mercury formed a conjunction with Chiron. Mercury is in Aries, Chiron is in Aries. So the conjunction means they're both, kind of on top of each other. That peak of that came today on Monday, April 15th at 11:22 a.m. Eastern time, but it's active for several days. So, just because it's the peak doesn't mean we're still going to continue to feel it. Mercury and Chiron are kind of doing this dance with each other because Mercury is retrograde right now. So it kind of is going past Chiron, going back, and then going forward. We already had the first pass of Chiron on March 20th. So if anybody remembers what you were doing on March 20th, you can look through your cell phone, look at the pictures, whatever it is. And then today, okay, it's going back. Remember, Mercury goes back. So that is going to be today, the peak of it. And then as it goes direct and goes forward, on May 7th, it'll go past Chiron again. So this is a 3-time thing, and we're working on healing something behind the scenes. Mercury is forming this conjunct with Chiron, which means we have something we need to heal in the astrological sign of Aries. So if you think about Aries is the self. And there's a lot of things happening in Aries this week, again, just like last week. We are in Aries season, but there's a lot of happenings in the astrological sign of Aries. So we're constantly being reminded to go back towards the self, the self, the self, the self. There's a lot of stuff going on in that department. So there's a lot of self-healing, self-work, all of those things going on, to remember the self, like what makes me happy. Yes, it's so wonderful and nice to think of others. I'm not saying not to, but it is okay to be a little spiritually selfish sometimes. Sometimes we need to do that. We need to be a little bit more spiritually selfish. And that's what I'm talking about here. And I use the word selfish. It's really like that whole analogy of you have to put the oxygen mask on first for yourself before you can put it on for your children or your loved ones. And because otherwise you pass out, and that's the thing. Oh, hey, Lynn, thank you. Yay, first stars of the night, 100 stars. Thank you so much, Lynn. I really appreciate you. Yes, so with having all of this is just reminding us again to focus on the self, focus on self-love, self-care. What makes you happy? I ask that question a lot in my sessions, especially when I'm doing coaching with people. What makes you happy? people can't really tell me. You know, it's like they'll say, well, I just want to be happy. And I'm like, okay, what makes you happy? And they're like, I don't know, just, you know, when I'm happy. And I'm like, everybody's idea of happiness is different. You know, maybe it's going to a baseball game. Maybe it's going, you know, watching a movie. You know, everybody's happiness, sense of happiness, or it's just a feeling inside of the body, you know, basically is something that, you know, it's very subjective. So it's good to know what makes you happy. That's the big thing. Yes, Andrea, it is your birthday. Happy birthday. Her birthday makes her happy. Yes. If everybody wants to wish Andrea happy birthday, it's the big day. Taxes and Andrea's birthday. So, you know, when we think about what makes us happy, it's so good. It's not just being happy on a birthday. It's being happy many times during the year, and it's a wonderful thing. So that's happening today. And then the other thing that happened today as well on Monday, again on April 15th, is the second quarter lunar cycle, or what I call the second chance new moon. Now, remember from last week, the big solar eclipse, new moon in Aries. Okay, we had all that. And I was talking about how I really feel we need to maybe hold off on any magic rituals or, you know, writing out our new moon manifestation list. But today is the day. We could totally do that. Peak of it, height of it, the pinnacle of it was 3:13 p.m. Eastern time. However, if you're out on the West Coast, 12:13 p.m. Pacific time. And so that is the second chance new moon. Now, this is in Cancer, the astrological sign of Cancer. So the sun is still in Aries, the moon is in Cancer. And those two always, you know, kind of form a little bit of a square when they come together. As Cancers and Aries, you know, are both leaders, both boss, both head of. And so that's something that can create just a little bit of tension. There's some dynamic, I think I called it my post today, dynamic tension between the two of them. I mean, on one hand, Cancer's saying, you know what, think about the feelings, think about the emotion, think about home and family. And on the other hand, the sun sign of Aries is think of self, right? Be confident, be courageous. And sometimes Aries is not so too sensitive to other people's feelings and emotions. And sometimes Cancers are too empathic and too sensitive to other people's feelings and emotions. So somewhere in between, there's the middle ground between these two. And that's what we're being asked to do today. I thought it was very interesting because I woke up this morning and there was a leak under my kitchen sink. And I was like, oh my goodness, the moon being in Cancer, home and family, water sign. Yep, that's right. This Aries over here had to fix her sink this morning. So there's a lot of energy right now. I don't know if anybody's feeling that, but the second chance new moon sometimes can create a little bit of a dynamic of we have to reevaluate what's going on in life. And you know, it's a good time to initiate during the new moon usually, but that last week was that big eclipse and that was not as ideal of a time. So right now we can, you know, sort of initiate before we get to the full moon when we're supposed to burn or destroy our list and wrap that up. It's a weird time right now to initiate new things because Mercury's retrograde after all. We did have the eclipse last week. And so those are not ideal times necessarily to initiate things. But because we're in Aries season, Aries is like go time, go, go, go. And so it's something that we have to kind of reconcile. Like, do we hold back or do we go? I have some things I've made moves on during this month and during this time. But other things I put a pin in it and I'm like, I'm waiting to fire that off after Mercury is no longer retrograde on April 25th, but we can still write out our manifestation list, our intentions, what we would like to harvest, what we would like to manifest, and that's still okay. So if you want to do it now, you know, and if you don't know what I mean by new moon manifestation list, you can comment below and I'll be sure to answer you, but that's basically what the deal is. Oh gosh. Oh no, washer. Naomi said, your relatively new washer stopped working yesterday. Oh no. Yeah, that's some of this home and family stuff. Home and family, that's the thing. Kelly said, talking to a new guy, but you did meet him last year. Well, if you met him last year, that's a different story. You know, it is what it is. But remember, we don't want to have big first dates during Mercury retrograde and or when the moon is void of course. Those 2 times, you don't want to have a big first date during those 2 times. I always treat moons that are void of course almost like a mini Mercury retrograde, if that helps. And I'm always posting them every day. On my astrology page, you know, when there is a void moon, so that can help you. Hey Katrina, welcome. Sagittarius and me. We got a lot of Sagittariuses tonight. That's fascinating. So tonight after the broadcast, if you have time before you go to bed, write out your new moon manifestation list if you want, because that is something that we can start working on. Well, tomorrow, a lot of astrologers would say maybe this is a minor transit, and it is kind of because it's involving a planetoid, but I still use them. As you know, I use the goddesses. So tomorrow on Tuesday, April 16th, Mars in Pisces is going to form a positive sextile with Ceres in Capricorn. It's going to be coming at 12:42 p.m. Eastern time is the peak of it, the height of it, the pinnacle of it when it's most strong. But remember, it's active right now as I'm doing this broadcast the day before, even because Mars is a little bit more of a slower moving planet. Yes. Oh no, Kelly said her son's computer stopped working the other day. Yeah, that's very Mercury retrograde. Hey, Juliet, welcome, Taurus. Charlie said is a good time to plant seeds. Exactly. We're going to be doing that now instead of last week, because it was the solar eclipse. Okay, so Mars being in Pisces, sextile Ceres, Capricorn. So this is like mothering, nurturing, caretaking, but Mars is a little aggressive. So we could very much be putting our energy today, tomorrow, even Wednesday or Thursday into nurturing, caring for a loved one, a child, a grandchild, a pet, a fur baby, a plant, whatever it is that you have to caretake or nurture. Also, Ceres, I keep forgetting when I'm talking about Ceres, but Ceres is cooking and food. So this is about doing meal prep, grocery shopping, all those types of things. Remember, Mars is our action and our aggression and where we're like sort of heading and what we're doing. So when it comes to Mars, the god of war, and meeting up with the Great Mother, we could be a little bit aggressive with our nurturing, you know. I mean, it's okay if we spend some time, you know, nurturing and caretaking for those we love and people that we get along with. That's okay. That's a fine thing to do. But we don't want to be too pushy about it. No, I told you I was gonna make you soup, you know, like we gotta like be a little bit, you know, and listen to the cues. If someone's like, no, I really don't want that, you know, you want to make sure that you're honoring that. Or you could have someone doing that to you, being a little bit smothering instead of mothering, you know. And so that is coming to a peak tomorrow on Tuesday. The bigger thing that's happening on Wednesday, April 17th, is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. She's in Aries, remember. She's forming a conjunction with the north node of the moon. Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and finances, forming a conjunction with the north node of the moon. What are we meant to do here in this lifetime? What is our goal, our dream, our aspiration? All of this, remember, is in Aries. Now, last week I brought the chart just to sort of show you guys because, you know, I wanted to like really demonstrate like how like squished in here these all are. Well, I did it again because it's just so much energy right now. I mean, there really is, it's like kind of unbelievable. 3, 4, 5. There's another line in here somewhere. I just wanted to show you guys here. This is where all of the Aries energy is all smushed in. This is technically, these symbols are all squished into here. The computer didn't have any room to put them, so it's kind of like moved them over a little bit, but this is the whole Aries sector. You can see how much is going on. The Sun, Chiron, Mercury retrograde, North Node, Venus. So they're all hanging out together, and kind of what they're doing is they're like passing each other. They all move at different rates and speeds. So it's like 1 minute Mercury's conjunct North Node, next minute Mercury's conjunct the Venus, and then the next minute, and they're like kind of like just doing that. And conjunctions, if you think about them, are the most powerful transit that you can have, really. So all of this is this laser beam of energy in Aries right now. I mean, it's powerful, powerful, powerful energy. I've been telling everybody this story, but when I was watching the eclipse, I was lucky because I live in an area where I could see the totality. So it was like pitch black, or not pitch black, but it was mostly dark. And you know, it was like crazy silent. It was really cool. And my neighbors were throwing a watch party, and there was a bunch of people, and everybody was outside basically throwing little parties and stuff. And I heard, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." And I thought it was because the eclipse. And here, one of the people just received the phone call that their child, their daughter, had just given birth at the height of the eclipse. Oh my gosh. I was like, that baby's astrological chart is going to be crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, when I found that out. I thought that person was in awe because everybody was saying things like that. They were clapping, they were cheering, they were crying. They were like, oh my God, this is amazing. But this one person, it was like, oh God, because she just found out her grandchild came in the height of the eclipse. Whew. So I just can't even believe like what that child, and all these little babies are coming in during this. It's crazy. So there's a lot of new energy coming onto the planet right now. And so Venus forming the conjunction with the north node of the moon on Wednesday is a big thing. Now, the height of it, the peak of it is 7:08 a.m. Eastern time. But again, we're going to be feeling it now. Like even during this broadcast, we're feeling it because look, they're not all far away from each other. They're all like hovering around each other. So this conjunction is aligning us with who our destiny is, right? Because if we think about love, we think about finances, we think about creativity, which is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Finance is creativity. You know, and then it's hooking into what do we want? What do we want in that arena? So if you're married and you're with somebody right now, you might be thinking about, what is our future together? You know, where do we go from here? We've been married for a while. Like what are our future goals? And if you're single and wanting to look, that's another thing. Or in between, you know, you're dating or something, you might be wanting that to know, like, where are we headed? What's my destiny? What's my future? And pay a very careful attention to people that come into your sphere around this time, especially if you're single, because that could be some kind of thing. You know, when we look at the north node of the moon, I always use that word destiny because that's a big, big thing. We call that the karmic nodes. So there may even be a past lifetime connection with this person if you meet somebody new during this time. But again, we're not supposed to be meeting new people during this Mercury retrograde. So, I don't know. I mean, it's something that we have to kind of make judgment calls about, because it just so happens that some of this most life-changing energy that we have in all of 2024 is all happening during this Mercury retrograde. So I'm having a hard time holding back. I know a lot of my clients are talking to me about that. They're like, but I don't want to sign this contract, or I don't want to do this thing. But we have to. Some of us have to do it, you know? So it's powerful energy, really, you know, because Aries is everything that's new, you know? I mean, Aries is the first sign. So with all this Aries energy, it's hardcore, you know, we're going to be in it. So what's your destiny with money, with love, with creativity, and we'll need to align with some of that. So all of these planets are going by and tickling the north node of the moon. You know, the sun did, Mercury retrograde, all these planets are doing that. So it's a big thing. Mercury retrograde is hovering around the north node. It's not exactly conjunct, but you saw from the diagram, you know, I was showing you with the wheel, the astrological wheel, that Mercury is kind of hovering around that too. You know, the north node, the destiny. It's coming more to an exact thing next week, but still we're feeling it right now because they're all together. They're all smushed in together. Yes, traffic was crazy during the eclipse for sure. People are commenting. Yeah, Kelly said congratulations to the neighbor. Yeah, it was just, oh my gosh, it was so unbelievable. We have a lot of astrological energy in Aries right now, and it's all coming to a head. So like I said, that peak of it is 7:08 a.m. Wednesday, April 17th, but we're feeling it right now. That's just when it's the strongest. And like I said, as we get to, and Wednesday, by the way, is a very, very busy day astrologically. There's a lot going on Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Oh, thank you so much, Jackie. Yay, 200 stars. You got you got 3 rings there. Thank you so much. Kelly said taking calculated risks only. Andrea, 111 stars. I love that. Happy birthday stars to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I said Thursday is probably the only quiet day in this whole week on the 18th. Astrologically, it's more like a normal day. so catch your breath day is Thursday, but be prepared to be very busy this week because there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. All right, Friday is one of those days where a lot of stuff is happening. So we start Taurus season on Friday. So I know a lot of Tauruses were waiting because the title of my video tonight was about the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which is coming this week as well. Start Taurus season, and Taurus season is going to start at 10 a.m. Eastern time on Friday, April 19th, 2024. 7 a.m. If you live out on the West Coast, or plus or minus wherever you're tuning in from. But that officially starts Taurus season. However, you can see how there's a big cluster still in Aries. So even though we're shifting into Taurus gears, we still have to finish out Aries. There's a lot of Aries lagging behind, really. And so we're starting Taurus season. Taurus is all about material, all about love and beauty. You know, when we think of Taurus, the ruler of Taurus is Venus. And like I said, Wednesday, Venus is aligning with the north node of the moon. So Venus, there's like a strong kind of Venus flavor behind the scenes around this time. We also have Mercury forming a conjunction with Venus on that morning at 4:59 a.m. Eastern time, so almost 5 a.m. Eastern time. Again, 2 a.m. if you're out on the West Coast. But again, Venus is active. Mercury retrograde is going to be hooking into Mercury retrograde. So that's going to be a very big thing with Mercury and Venus kind of coming together like that. That's talking, using flowery language, being able to express our love or be very verbose when it comes to, you know, it's like writing a song, a poet, you know, poetry, a sonnet, roses are red, violets are blue, that kind of thing. Because if you think about Venus, the goddess in love and beauty, and so if you're a writer, this is very, very good for you, very creative time, which is great. And so that's something that we all can benefit from. If you have a crush or somebody that, you know, you could hear from them, people could be flirting, there could be a lot of stuff like that going on. Again, we don't want to like make big moves because it's Mercury retrograde that Venus is highlighting here. Mercury is retrograde, but it's in Aries and it's springtime. What do I have to say? I have a lot of clients right now calling me about love stuff. There's been a lot of love in the air, you know, if you will. So that is going on behind the scenes. So with Taurus season starting, Taurus is all about material goods, and all about safety and security, all about, like, again, I said Venus, the ruler of Venus. So it's love, it's creativity, it is finances. The ruler of the second house in the astrological chart is Taurus. And so Taurus is can be all about money, honey, looking good, and it's an earth sign. So it's very solid. Like, I always say, Taurus is actually, believe it or not, in some ways are kind of similar to Aries, because if you think about their neighbors, but Taurus is a little bit more deliberate, a little bit more careful, a little bit more methodical and thought out, much more practical for sure. But Taurus is the bull, likes to kind of, ram things. Okay, bulls, when you hold up the red cape, bullfighters, they do that. Which is a very cruel sport, actually. But when they do that, the bulls go after it, well, if you think about Aries and the ram, they go after things too, and they can be that way. Taurus is, how I experienced it, Tauruses are like work hard and play hard. Tauruses can be like that. Very, like when they go, they really go, but when they stop, they really stop. There's a thing with that. And so yeah, Tauruses can be very, very determined. Juliet said, speaking from experience, right, Juliet? you know, and so there's a lot of Tauruses that really are very successful. They like to, you know, have things, nice shiny things, a lot of Tauruses, or just handmade things, comfortable things. I always say the difference between Taurus and Libra, they both share Venus as ruling planets, but the difference between Taurus and Libra is that I find that Libras like sort of, you know, tight shoes, like pointed shoes or like itchy sweaters. And Tauruses don't do any of that. Taurus likes it to be very comfortable and very like soft and squishy and very home and family. Taurus is another sign, not just Cancers, but Tauruses too can be very home and family oriented. There's a lot of modern astrologers that do feel that Ceres, the planetoid, is actually more of the ruler of Taurus. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but I just want to put that out there because Ceres is the great mother, right? And Taurus is all about a little bit about home and family too, though not in the same way as a Cancer, but still a lot of Tauruses I know are very family oriented and very, you know, like to decorate their home, like Joanna Gaines, you know, from HGTV, you know, Joanna Gaines, the designer, you know, she's Taurus and Aries. She's a Taurus Aries combo. And so, you know, she likes her home and family, her decor and, you know, decorating and all that. Yes, it's comfortable, fine luxury. Exactly. It's funny, years and years ago, I used to have a 5 or 6 planet hairdresser Libra, and he did my hair in I mean, it always looked amazing when he did it. And as soon as I got home, it was so high maintenance. He used like every tool, every product. Like I could never duplicate or replicate the hair experience. So now I have a Taurus hairdresser who's all about like shake and go. You know, I mean, she's able to get me the, you know, look good, but also have it be easier so that I can, you know, just do it on my own. And yes, I do interview my hairdressers by what their astrological sign is. It's a thing. When you're here, hey, as an astrologer, I can say, what is your sign? I need to know before I hire you. So it's something that is pretty fun. But so we are going into Taurus season. And we get a little bit more calmer. That's what I like. Like even when the moon is in Aries, like I just feel those Aries moons so much because I am in Aries, like I said, and it's very like in your face and oh, like let's go, 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 go. And there's a lot of stuff that happens. But when it goes into the Taurus time, I'm like, oh, thank God. Like it's just like a slowing down a little bit. Then it speeds up again when we get into Gemini. But I feel like time just kind of goes into a little bit more of a, like we got to finish things, we got to wrap things up. Tauruses are the finishers, the completers, the closers, you know, they like to close a deal. You know, they can wrap it up. Where Aries is like running around, you know, doing all kinds of things as far as starting new things and all that. Taurus is about finishing. Let's finish that new thing. So that's something that I look forward to at the Taurus time frame, and we need a little bit of that. However, we're not going to get that immediately. Oh, Juliet sent stars. I didn't see. I don't know. I didn't get a notice. Oh, thank you. I did. It must have moved. Thank you, Juliet. I must have moved. Thank you, Andrea. Thanks, Juliet. Let's get to this because I know I flew by the Taurus, and I usually do a deep dive, and I might even do that next week when I have a little bit more time onto Taurus season. But I want to talk about how we are going through the Taurus gate with a bang. Okay, it's like we are going straight into the biggest transit of this year in 2024, and that's where Jupiter and Uranus are forming a conjunction in Taurus. Now, remember, I just printed out today's astrological, so I'm just going to make this very dark so you can see what is going on. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is right here. You can see they're already conjunct. Conjunct means on top of each other. So as of today, on Monday at the time of the broadcast, this is where they are. But by the time we get to Saturday, 4/20, April 20th, and you guys might remember, but if you follow me regularly, I have been talking about this conjunction since January, okay? This is one of the biggest conjunctions that we have of the year, and it's a big, huge deal. So Uranus is in Taurus, And then Jupiter is also in Taurus. So they're both in Taurus right now, and they're both about to come into this conjunction, and it's very, very powerful. Both being in Taurus, like I said, and then we have the start of Taurus season. So I'm going to give you the details first right now, and then I'm going to go into the definition and what all this means. So like I said, on Friday, April 19th, the sun goes into Taurus at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Then that day, Mars in Pisces is going to form a sextile to both of them. Oh boy. Okay, so how this is laid out is Mars is going to form a sextile with Jupiter. The peak of it, the height of it is 11:28 a.m. Eastern time on Friday. And then after that, Mars will form a sextile with Uranus at 7:56 p.m. That's Friday night. Okay, almost 8 p.m. Friday night Eastern. These are all Eastern time. And then as we get into the next day on April 20th, we have Jupiter forming the conjunction with Uranus at 10:27 p.m. Eastern time. Now, to give you a understanding of what's going on, in astrology, a conjunction is considered to be anything that's 10 degrees or less away from each other. Okay, so 10 degrees or less. These two have been at least within 3 degrees all through March, April, and even as we get into May. So when we talk about these big conjunctions, they go out months. It's going to be almost half the year that these two are together. When you really think about the 10 degrees or less, I just said 3 degrees or less, March, April, and May. So the peak of it, the height of it, the most strong it's going to be is on Saturday. But I mean, when you pan out, and you look at the big picture is this sucker's been going on. So where's Taurus in your astrological chart? And you will know how this will affect you. It's going to be 21 degrees or so, Taurus. So what house is it in? Where is Taurus in your chart? If you are a Taurus, this is hitting you in the heart of it. If you are a Scorpio, this is opposing you, and this might feel tension, okay? If you're a Leo or an Aquarius, you might be getting a little bit of flavoring of that too. If you are another earth sign, so if you're a Virgo or if you're a Capricorn, you're getting that feeling as well. So see how this is like involving a lot of things and a lot of people. Okay, so this only happens once every like 11, 12 years or so. And it depends. Sometimes if they form a conjunction, sometimes you get 2 or 3 like sort of hits of it, like what Mercury and Chiron are doing this week. Like I was talking about with that, Mercury and Chiron are 3 hits. That's what I call a hit. That's an informal, that's a Gretchen thing. That's not a formal thing when it comes to astrology. But I call it a hit. So this time it's only one time. They're only going to aspect each other exactly a transit one time. Sometimes they do it 2 or 3 times. So the last time they did this was back in Pisces. It was in September of 2010 and then in January of 2011. But in March of 2011 was when the big tsunami hit Japan and all those, and it was in Pisces, right? The ocean. Okay, so, and there was an earthquake. So what is Uranus usually associated with in my book? Earthquakes. I feel like this could be definitely, we're going to see a lot of earthquake activity. We even just had an earthquake right before New York, and actually New Jersey in the United States, which they can't even find the fault line, okay, of where this thing, how it exactly happened. They're still looking for the fault line, okay? So that's kind of a crazy thing. So if you think about that, this shakeups, unexpected events, that's Uranus. Okay, so that's what happened in March of 2011, just 2 months after the peak of it. So see how this thing is going to be active. Remember, in a big bubble, it's like almost 6 full months or so, 7 months, 8 months, depending on the year and all that. But the last time this happened in Taurus wasn't since May of 1941. Okay, what was happening in 1941? Well, we were in the middle of World War II. We were just coming out of the Great Depression. So if you think about monetary, material things, that was kind of like 1941 was sort of like the very last, like kind of what they considered to be the Great Depression. They sort of like the last year of it. I think it started in 1929. So they were coming out of that time. Now, if you think about all of this stuff going on, I mean, Uranus has been in Taurus for a long time. Jupiter's been in Taurus this year and last year. You know, think about material goods, think about the stock market, think about real estate things that are going on in the news, think about Bitcoin, think about all that stuff is money related, right? Well, they were just starting to get back on their feet in 1941 when this last happened. Now, the day after the peak, so the last time this happened in Taurus was May 7th, 1941. That was the last time that came to a peak. Well, May 8th, 1971, the British Navy sunk a German battleship called the Bismarck right off of the coast of France. Okay, so there was a lot of doom and gloom in 1941 when I was like sort of researching for this broadcast. And why am I talking about 1941? Okay, great. That's what happened in 1941. Gretchen, how does that relate to now? Well, that's how astrologers do it, is that we look back on these previous cycles and we say, well, this happened and this happened and this happened. Oh, that's a pattern. Ding, ding, ding. How can that relate to us now and modernize it and sort of make it, a 2024 thing instead of a 1941 thing? There was a lot of stuff going on with World War II. They were just coming out of the Great Depression. The happiest thing that I could find that happened in May of 1941 was the invention of Cheerios. So Cheerios became a thing. Actually, I didn't know this, but they were initially called Cheery Oats. I didn't know. I had no idea. Cheery Oats. And then they were rebranded, I think, in 1945 to Cheerios instead of Cheery Oats. But that that's the cheeriest news that I could come up with. So we have a lot of different things that go on from the last time that Jupiter and Uranus formed that conjunction in Taurus. I mean, there's a lot. So when we talk about, Ashley Ann said something about income inequality. Yeah, I mean, there could be all kinds of financial stuff going on during this time. There has been behind the scenes, you know, for what we have been through, and I don't want to get into a big political this and that, but for what we have been through, I mean, people are getting by there. I mean, it's bad. I mean, the inflation's crazy. Interest rates are crazy, but could it be worse? Yeah, probably. I mean, like Great Depression was really pretty bad. I mean, during that time. But it looks to be kind of rallying. I don't know. I mean, they're saying that inflation's stopping, but like I said, when bread used to be 25 cents a loaf, it never went back to 25 cents after it was raised up to $3. It never went back. We never saw 25-cent bread again, or 50 cents for the movies. You know, once prices, in my humble opinion, in history get raised, then you're stuck with them. Nobody ever lowers their prices. So it is what it is. But when we talk about Taurus, that's material goods. That is definitely our savings, our 401k. We might even start to experience new types of currencies like these Bitcoin type things. Uranus actually is in the Bitcoin chart, like I was talking about last time. I mean, that's a big thing. So when we talks about home and family too, I mean, that could also affect the real estate market for sure, either going up or going down or whatever. But remember, Jupiter makes everything bigger, and Uranus is a little bit of a destabilizer. Uranus really wants to push us to have change. That's really where we're headed, is change, you know, and then Jupiter makes that change bigger. So there can be eruptions, there can be all kinds of things, especially on Friday. And remember, that's the peak. So this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Mars is the god of war. And yes, Mars is in Pisces, but like if you look at the news right now with, you know, Iran and Israel and United States. There's a lot of stuff that's getting stirred up right now. And Mars is the god of war. So Mars is actually going to be highlighting these two. In a sextile, yeah, sextiles are positive, but I always say look at the players. And we have a destabilizer hitting up with Mars, the god of war, and then Jupiter making everything bigger. Yeah, there could be violence on the news. There could be all kinds of things. But remember, on each and every one of I like to talk about two perspectives, more of a global perspective and more of an individual perspective. The individual perspective is this is pushing us to change, to grow. And Mars is saying, make those changes now. And like I said, so during this, all this Mercury retrograde of hold back, don't do much, don't start the new things, blah, blah, blah. This is like change. And it's pushing us to do that. And it just so happened to be coming right after this big eclipse. So all of this change is going on during this time. And this is one of the most like sort of changing sort of month out of the entire year. Like I said, this doesn't even really happen very often every 11, 12 years. For these two to come together. So it's unusual for it to come together in Taurus, unless if you were born in 1941, you have that in your chart. And if you're doing that and you're watching this broadcast, you're awesome. If anybody knows somebody that's born in 1941, this might be coming back around in that person's personal chart, and they may be going through a lot of ups and downs or change or having something destabilize or whatever. Taurus is the neck area and the throat area, the lower jaw. Okay, so we want to be careful about the cervical spine, the neck, the throat, your thyroid gland, all of those things. Cervical, all that. You want to be sort of careful of that. TMJ, tonsils, all this stuff. That's where Taurus is in the body. And like I said, it's the natural ruler of the second house. The second house is your finances, your personal finances. Like I said, your 401k, your investments, all that. It's also things you value. So what do you value? What do you place value on? What will you spend your money on? What is something that you will give time, effort, energy? What do you value in your life? And that's Taurus. And so Taurus is making us sort of look at things. Oh, wow. Andrea said her mom has that in her chart, Taurus 1941, and she had a neck ache today. See, yeah, exactly. So it is something, oh no, your jaw's been achy lately and you're a Taurus. Yeah, Colleen. Yeah, so we have a lot of astrological energy pushing us. And like I said, they're going to be together astrologically here in that sign as we start Taurus season. So it's like almost like just, punching us in the face really with the sun going into Taurus. And then we have Mars highlighting this Jupiter, Taurus, Uranus thing. Oh my gosh. So there's a lot. It's like a heavy, possibly volatile. I mean, we might hear of earthquakes. We might hear of volcanic activity. There might be a rash, like a thing of violence. I mean, that can be stuff. But remember, on you and I on a personal level, this is change. And this is, Mars is saying, give action towards that change. Lean into the change. We have a lot of things that are going on right now that we can lean into with change. And so, it's heavy. It's a little bit heavy, but I don't look at Uranus as a malefic. I know a lot of astrologers do, where they say, oh, be careful, Uranus is one of the naughty planets. They call them the malefic planets. I mean, we have to be careful. The other thing that happened in 1941, people are asking me about war and stuff like that. I mean, the other thing that happened in 1941 was Pearl Harbor. I mean, that happened in September, and this thing was active in May, the peak of it. But remember, it was many, many, many months long. So when we go into December, sorry if I don't know if I said September or not, but December of 1941, that was Pearl Harbor. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff kind of coming up that's been activated right now, and I'm a little worried about some of that going on. With all the different, oh my goodness, all the different players over there. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yes. Oh, wow, Katrina, you said your dad was at Pearl Harbor. That's amazing. Yeah, lean into the change. Exactly, Ashley Ann. Yep. Have this going on. I mean, like I said, this is a rare sort of thing. What was happening for you in 2011? I mean, that was the last time this happened. Different sign. Different sign. It was in Pisces. But if you know what was happening for you around that time, at the end of 2010 going into 2011, it might give you, you know, a little heads up as to what's going on. If you know where Taurus is in your astrological chart, and look, you don't even have to have planets in Taurus. Everybody has an astrological sign. Ashley Ann said you went back to college in late 2010, early 2011, and it was a good productive time for you. Yeah, see, so again, history does repeat itself. It is cyclical. We think that history is linear and it's a straight line. It is not. It is cyclical. It goes around and around and around and around. You know, I'm noticing all this 1970s fashion styles right now. You know, and that's something that, you know, we always say everything, you know, don't throw away your bell bottoms because they'll come back in style or whatever, that you like to wear. Well, it's the same thing with everything, actually. We have Jupiter, and Jupiter usually is positive, optimistic, cup is half full. It's just that Uranus sometimes can be a shocking change. What I would say is, and especially with Taurus being active, is that Tauruses can sometimes, I'm sorry to all your Tauruses out there, but I'm going to say it, sometimes can be stubborn and sometimes doesn't like to make big moves and things like that if it's not their idea. I'll just clarify, because a lot of Tauruses like to kind of be in charge of their deal. So if change comes upon us, we have to remember to be very flexible and open-minded, because otherwise that's when you get, in my opinion, that's when you get to the naughty side of Uranus. Like if you don't want to change and you're clinging to something, you don't want to make that big change in life, that's when Uranus shoves you, you know, and it's like, that's when the change feels ouchy, whether it's like, maybe you know you should leave your relationship right now, but you don't really want to, you know, blow up your life. So that's when you get a big shove, you know, or you really want to leave your job, but all of a sudden, you know, oh, it's not the right time, blah, blah, blah. You get a big shove, okay? And then you get laid off, you know, or something, right? So that's when change can be thrusted upon us. And so when change happens like that, that can be a little bit, it can be a little bit, you know, ouchy, because we're being thrusted into. So it's about being open and flexible. And even if something comes during this time, let's say it's a big change and it's not a change you want, but if you lean into the change, if you lean into the difference, that's when we can actually, you know, benefit. Like, oh yeah, I could get unemployment. Oh yeah, I could look for my dream job. Or, oh, you know, there was someone at the office that was asking me out and I couldn't be going out with them because I was in this abusive relationship. You know, it's like, maybe that's good change. Maybe the change is good change, you know. So it's just about leaning into change, whether it's positive or not. Look, if you've been wanting change, like you want something in your life to change, you're welcoming. This is what I always say: have it be good, have it be fun change, have it be something that that I'm looking forward to, that's exciting, because Uranus can be that too. Uranus is just the wild card. I always say you could unexpectedly win the lottery, and that would be a big, huge change in your life, right? That would be a life-changing event that you'd have to still deal with. Some lottery winners, former lottery winners, will tend to maybe they'll say, "Oh, that I didn't even want the money," you know, or whatever, because it's hard to deal with. But it's still change. You have to adjust, you know, and you have to kind of figure that out. So that's what I would say with this, is that it's something that we have to keep in mind, that it's just trying to change us. Now, you're manifesting all the time. I kind of touched on this last week, and I want to say it again because it's such a good reminder to all of us. Sometimes or not sometimes, all the time, when we're having thoughts, when we're having emotions, when we're repetitively, obsessively thinking about whatever thing it is, whether it's our kid or whether it's our job or whether it's that, person at the post office or whatever obsession thing that we're doing in our head, and we're going over and over and churning and churning. Everybody's got something that they think about. That's the thing you're manifesting. So be very mindful of what is churning. Okay, because that's where, remember my favorite saying, energy flows where attention goes. So if you're having your attention on that thing, that's what you're going to be, manifesting. And so it's something, I have a funny story. I'll just talk very quickly, a very funny story. Remember that movie, The Ring? I don't know if anybody watched that. As a horror film. And the little boy in the movie used to call his mom by her first name, and he'd say, Rachel, 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 Rachel. Well, my ex and I, we were joking around. We were starting to say, okay, Rachel, we were making this joke out of the movie. Well, we started saying it kind of a lot. And it was like a fun thing behind the scenes. But all of a sudden, all these Rachels started showing up because we kept saying the name Rachel. And then finally, we were walking the dogs and this person stops and asks for directions. And she said, oh, you guys were so nice. What are your names? And we said our names. And then we said, what's your name? And she says, Rachel. We're like, all right, that's it. We can't make this joke anymore because we're manifesting Rachels. And we didn't even really want to do that, right? So I think it was funny. It's a funny sort of thing, but energy flows where attention goes. And if you're churning on something, it doesn't matter, even if it's a stupid thing like that, that's going to start coming to you. So it's something that I can give you thousands of examples of things like that have happened to me. It's crazy. So be mindful as we go into this week and into this time, and I'm not even done yet. Okay. That there's even more to come. So that's what's going on behind the scenes. This is going to be a very tough time because then there's more. Okay. We have Mars aspecting the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happens on Saturday. That's the peak of it. On the same day, on 4/20, April 20th, Lilith, Black Moon Lilith, is opposing Mars. 11:20 a.m. Eastern time. So Black Moon Lilith is in Virgo and Mars is in Pisces. Okay. So we talked about Mars being, highlighting the Jupiter-Uranus. Jupiter and Uranus could be a little unpredictable. And Mars is aggressive for sure. Now we have Black Moon Lilith opposing, being opposite. Be very careful this weekend. The next day, on the 21st, the sun is going to form a square with Pluto. The sun is now newly in Taurus, squaring Pluto in Aquarius. On Sunday, the peak of that on the 21st is going to be at 1:02 p.m. Eastern time. Doesn't matter the peak of these things because we got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here. And there's something happen on every day. Black Moon Lilith can be very aggressive. Mars can be very aggressive. Pluto can be very aggressive. Okay, so we got to really watch that. Personally, this is about, we want to this is not the time to discuss politics with your coworker or to get into a religious, sort of thing or doing any kind of, whatever, where it's posting something that could be a little bit teetering. Oh yeah, people go crazy over it. So remember, for you and I, it's a thing that we can control, but people who are suffering from mental illness, from drug and alcohol addictions, people who are teetering already going into this with depression or, anything, this could be very nasty. This could be very, very nasty. Yeah, no fights, Ashley Ann, with your exes, neighbors, I don't care who it is. No fights at all. Walk away. Just walk away. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you go. You must be in a rush. Go, Don't get into, this is not the time to get on that hill and fight to the death. This is not that time because it can very quickly topple into some really dangerous stuff here. I'm telling you, there's going to be stuff all over the news, I think, this weekend And so that is a thing. Yeah, could this energy be a little sexy? Mars can be sexy. Lilith can be sexy. Pluto can be sexy. Sexiness is like a form of passion, right? I mean, that could be fun and fiery and feisty. But, ooh, you know, you play around with the wrong person at the wrong time. This could be very crunchy stuff. Colleen said, leaving for a family trip this weekend. Go slow. Someone cuts you off, just let them go. Oh, we're going to be in a traffic jam. Fine, I'm bringing snacks. Okay, like whatever. So that your energy is in a more of a peaceful, okay, time. You want to watch that, really. Kelly said your Pluto's on your descendant at 2 degrees Aquarius. Yeah, that Pluto going over the right on I'm sorry, not the descendant. Pluto going over that can be a thing for relationships. Yes, Lori said, unfortunate for all the Karens. Yes, I know. That was a weird thing with that name. It became like a dirty name or something. It's a shame because Karen's a pretty name, but yes, so so a lot of people are commenting that, yeah, I mean, so we want to watch ourselves. This is not the time. So this is why I like doing this broadcast, and this is why I like doing these announcements, because that way you guys can plan ahead. Plan accordingly, okay? If you know that there's going to be some ouchy stuff, this is not the time to have a delicate conversation. You know, if you want positive success with things and you want to be able to have it go your way, you know, because otherwise this stuff is all crunchy. All of this stuff is crunchy. Just the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, like I said, that can go either way, depending. But man, you throw Pluto, Mars, and Lilith into this, now you got yourself a good fight, you know? I mean, those three, I would assume that they would be the evil doers hanging out together, you know? Mars, the god of war. Hades is Pluto, the lord of the underworld. You know, Lilith, who's like some wild beast, you know? I mean, my God, you know, you get all three of them. That could be a good Halloween party, really. Oh, thank you, Charlie. 100 squares. Thank you. Ashley Ann, plan to hunker down for the weekend. Exactly. Any suggestion on stopping obsessive thoughts? Yes. Okay. So I'll very quickly say this, and then I'm going to wrap it up for questions. And maybe people can start typing. That's a good question or a good segue into questions. Yes, working out can be a thing, but even working out, depending on what you're doing, like if you're just walking or just running or just riding your bike, you can still be in your thoughts. You know, I mean, when you work out, you have to do something that literally you would fall over if you're not paying attention. That can work. And working out can help to process something through the body. I agree with that. And by the way, that Mars, Pluto, and Lilith stuff, all of that could be working out and exercising. All of that could be very good. But what I like to do is cancel, clear, and then redirect. Okay, so cancel, clear. You're canceling the energy. You're clearing the energy. And then redirect. Redirect has to be pretty powerful. So the redirect might be, what did you eat on Saturday night? What's your favorite movie of all time? What's your favorite record or album or CD or whatever you call it nowadays, digital download? Okay. What was your best friend's name in first grade? See how you have to really think about it? Like I could say, what'd you eat this morning? And you might be able to fire that off. But something that you really stops you from whatever it is. So you cancel, clear initially, and then you redirect. Now you might have to do that 6, 7, 10 times, depending on how juicy and meaty the thing is that you're chewing on. Okay. The obsessive thought that you're having, like if it's a breakup or if it's like, you know, some kind of cancel, clear, redirect. I've been doing this ever since I learned about this technique in life coaching school. So I've been doing this now for like, I don't even know, 12 or 13 years. I can do it fairly quickly because I've been practicing it for over a decade. But if it is a very juicy thing, and I don't really have time for that right now, I will cancel, clear it. Sometimes it'll try to come back a couple times. I'll cancel clear, but then I do redirect. And I also will redirect my physical state. So if you're sitting and ruminating and obsessing and thinking, it's good to stand up and go for, a walk, or change something about the physical state of your body. Okay, and that will help the redirect as well, because it changes the movement. It gets you, sitting up, because a lot of times we get in our head and we get down and we start to think, oh my God, and that thing, and then, okay, sit up, smile, do something different that kind of changes your state. Try to smile even if you don't feel like smiling. Okay. Oh, good. All right. I was feeling bad, but maybe I could feel, and it depends obviously on the thing. You didn't say specifically what it was. I mean, obviously if it's like grief, it's different. You're not going to smile your way through grief. But if it's something like, oh, that coworker or that, person betrayed me or something, okay. You change your state. When you change your physical state, that helps too. So cancel clear, redirect by asking yourself questions. Look, I even have advised clients to maybe even write down on the refrigerator and hang up questions that you can ask yourself that you have to really ponder and think about. Nothing that you can recall easily, something that's like, okay, what is my favorite color? Well, when I was little, I liked purple, but maybe now I like blue. I don't know, so that you have to really stop and think about it. Has to be a powerful question that you have to really dig your heels into here. Yes, and change your position, get up and move around. Yes, exactly like that. You're welcome, Kathy. I hope that helps. Now, the good news is there are some overnight between Saturday and Sunday. There are 2 Venus transits that could help to sort of smooth things out. They're not major ones. Venus is going to form a square with Ceres at 2:24 a.m. on the 21st, and then Venus is going to form a conjunction with Chiron again in Aries. We're healing something in Aries. Mercury formed a conjunction with Chiron today. Now Venus is forming a conjunction with Chiron on Sunday. Again, that's 7:48 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday morning. Okay, maybe they could help. The Venus, we've got 2 Venus things in there, but boy, that's she single-handedly battling up against Mars and Lilith and Pluto. She's poor girl up here. She's got her hands full with all these feisty characters that are like breathing fire dragons or something. The good news coming next Monday, for any of you who are sky watchers, and we're getting more and more sky watchers now because of the eclipse, is there is going to be a meteor shower, and there might be some meteors over the weekend even, which are shooting stars, and so that could be really fun to watch. But that is this week in astrology. It's a lot. All right, so I'm going to just briefly recap, and then I also want to take questions if anybody has questions, and then stay tuned because I'm going to pull a card for the week. What does everybody need to know for the week? So very quickly to recap, Mercury and Venus today. Mercury is forming a conjunction with Chiron. Venus on Sunday, conjunction with Chiron, something we need to heal. Then we have Venus forming a conjunction with the North Node of the Moon on Wednesday, aligning with our destiny, our future, what we need. And then, boy, we get into that danger, weird zone, like use caution zone, I'll say. A yellow caution sign on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. We have the Mars forming sextiles with that, and then we have that Sun square Pluto thing. Even that Sun square Pluto thing, there's usually, I am sorry to say this, but there's usually always some kind of a shooting or something on the news. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. So we got a lot happening. I know you guys can deal with it, and it's just about going through it. We can't go around it. We have to just go through it. And so it's something that that we have the fortitude. All of this is teaching us to have fortitude, determination, and courage, for sure. Yes, Katrina wants to have a card for her son's birthday today. Yes, I will definitely pull a card for your son's birthday, Katrina. Oh, that's a beautiful card. Gifts from God. That's a great one. Gifts from God. Archangel Sandalphon. We angels bring you gifts from your creator. Open your arms to receive. So that's a wonderful, I feel like there's a lot going on around your sun with I don't know if it's schooling or work or something, but I always say that your work as a younger person is school sometimes. So sometimes school and work is interchangeable for me, but there's something going on. I almost feel like maybe they're getting out of work and then, or getting out of school and then trying to find, but there's a lot of stuff going on around that. So I just want to say that as a side note. Yes. Okay. So Jackie, how is the interview going for tomorrow? Woo. Oh, you have to have priorities with this particular thing, Jackie. I mean, you get Archangel Metatron here. Focus on your highest priorities. It will help you to get organized and motivated. So what is your priority with finding jobs, right? Is it the money? Is it the hours? Or is it having nice coworkers? Like, what is your priority? Is it a title? I mean, like, whatever it is, you need to prioritize and kind of, because I do feel like this person or company or something might try to, I don't know, kind of like, how do I say this? Like work with you on some things, but not on other things. Okay. So I don't know if this is totally the right fit, but like, you know, like I said in last week's broadcast, I can't tell you what to do, you know, as far as like if it's good money or if it's good hours or whatever, or it's creative. I don't know. This job doesn't feel like it's totally like matching up on every single thing that you want, but maybe some things. So maybe it's good for the interim. I don't know. I don't know that that's going to be a long-term thing. Melinda, I don't know actually the answer to that question. You wanted to know what key to buy a Tibetan singing bowl in. I'm not exactly sure. That is a question for a sound healer. I don't do sound healing, which is shocking, I guess, because I do so many other things, but I don't do that. I hope that helps, Jackie. Yes, you're feeling the energy, remaining calm and positive, Kirsten said. Yes. Best days for business deals and communications this week. I mean, again, I would wait till another time, but I would say definitely, I would say all the days this week are kind of, there's a lot. I would say Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even Thursday, Ashley Ann. Oh, Kelly said, yeah, go for the key of your favorite song. That could maybe help. Oh, yes. Oh, work around your sun, Katrina. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so looks like I caught up with all the questions. I'm going to pull a card. What do we need to know for this week? There's a lot of energies, especially with that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. That's a big one. It's a really big one. All right, what do we need to know? Woo! We got all kinds of cards falling out here. We have 4 cards. You know what? I usually don't do this. I usually don't read when 4 cards fall out, but I am this week because it's so much. There's so many layers, and every one of us is going to experience that a little bit different. Where is Aries in your astrological chart? Where is Taurus in your astrological chart? And even Pisces. And that's what, you know, is going to be affected. Because remember, Saturn and, where's my pen? I think I lost my pen here somewhere, but Saturn and Mars are even still together right now, you know, in Pisces. So we have a lot of energy. So I'm going to pull these cards. These cards all came out. Okay. A lot of energy. So we have very first is nurture. Remember when I was talking about Ceres, nurturing comfort, and I was talking about Taurus, nurturing comfort. We have compassion. Okay. Sometimes, especially when this shadowy stuff comes out, like with Lilith and Pluto, compassion, where's your compassion for yourself? You know, I'm going to read you the messages on these cards, but I really feel like especially when we get shadowy stuff with Pluto and Lilith, those can make us feel bad about ourselves, you know, especially if we get triggered and it's like, oh, I suck and I don't, cancel, clear. Okay. But like, if we get into that dark spot, have compassion, be soft, love yourself. Okay, so this is Archangel Zadkiel. Soften your heart with respect to the situation and all the people involved, including yourself. Okay, so we want to have compassion. These are Durian Virtue Archangel cards. Then we want to nurture ourselves. Look at the baby. Okay, beautiful baby. Nurture. Archangel Gabriel, as you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Both activities are very important right now. Clairaudience. Okay, so sometimes clairaudience is all about the thoughts that you have in your head. We were just talking about that, but clairaudience is also about being open to other people giving feedback, or other people, like if you hear, like let's say you have 10 different people in your life that were like, you should make a website, or you should write a book, or you should, you know, be a doctor, or whatever wonderful feedback you get, and you're getting like a lot of that feedback, listen to it. But if you have, you know, naysayers, you don't have to listen to it. But I'm saying in the positive, if you have, you know, people giving you some great advice, you know, listen to that, but listen to yourself. That's the biggest thing here. So Archangel Zadkiel, again, here we are. Notice the loving guidance you hear inside of your mind or from other people. And that's this card. Look at that beautiful lavender color. That's beautiful. And then last but not least, breathe. We got to breathe. Archangel Raphael, take several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and release old patterns. I'm just going to say this. Uranus is anything affecting electricity and the electric system of the body. So it is palpitations, it is seizures, it is migraine headaches, and for sure, Uranus is connected with anxiety. So anybody out there, if you have anxiety issues, if you have feelings of anxiousness, remember to stop, to breathe, okay? Yeah, go for a walk. Meditate, pray, go for a walk, do the cancel, clear, and redirect like I was talking about. All those good things. Because we need to release those patterns, any of that old stuff that's coming up for us right now. It's coming up to be healed. Okay, it's not coming up to torture us. It's coming up to be healed. You know what I like to say sometimes when those things come up? I did the best I could in that moment. Maybe it wasn't great. Maybe I messed up. Maybe I made a mistake. But I was doing the best that I could in the moment that I had, the wisdom that I had in that moment. I was doing the best I could. I love that because we all are doing the best we can in any given moment. Actually, we all are. Even if that moment we're low on resources, like we're low financially in our financial resources, or we're low on time, or we're low on patience, or we're low on sleep, or we're low, that's a resource. Okay. So you're doing the best you could with 5 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep, no money in your bank account, or whatever it was at that time in your life in the past that you did those things. But you were doing the best you could in that moment. And every one of us is actually. Every one of us is doing the best we can in any given moment, even when that best is maybe only this much, you know. But I like to say that. I like to say I did the best I could. Okay? So if you get hard on yourself, if you know, you said the wrong thing, you did the wrong, or something comes up and you're kind of, you know, torturing yourself over it, or the anxiety comes up, I'll do the best that I can. You can say I did the best I could in the past if you're having depression, or in the future, I'm going to give it the best I can. That's all I can do. And I like that. It kind of lets yourself off the hook a little bit, because boy, we are so hard on ourselves. All right, everybody. I hope that helps. Woo, big energies. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time, but I'm going to try to do a YouTube specific video about this for all the astrological signs. But there's a lot going on this week, and you know, it's going to be busy. So I'm hoping to get to that. But if you guys want to have a personalized astrological session, you know, one-on-one, where I go through all of these things, I go through the patterns, I go through what your life lesson is, I go through all the timing and everything. If you want to have that, feel free to reach out. Send me a text message if you have my phone number, or an email, or a DM, whichever social media you're watching this on. And I'm sending out lots of love, lots of positive, good light to everybody. And I will see you guys next Monday. Bye.